Howdy, y'all. I'm Brylan.
And I'm Lisa,
And this is Rig Truth.
where we bring you current news from a biblical perspective.
That's right. Today, we are going to be talking about Hillsong.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Hillsong. It never ends with Hillsong, does it?
No.
Just a constant, here we go again.
Yeah. If you've been looking at Christian news at all lately, Hillsong's been in the news a lot recently.
They have. So here we go. Hillsong founder Brian Houston apologizes but says he has no intention of retiring. So if you're not familiar with, Paramount? No, it was Discovery.
Discovery Channel.
Discovery Plus. They just put out a documentary on Hillsong, and it was, for the longest time you heard about this documentary coming out on Hillsong. And I heard so many people just praising, I can't wait for this to come out and destroy Hillsong.
Yeah.
Okay. But never once did I hear anybody stop and say, wait a minute, this is a non-Christian network. I can't think of anything that Discovery's ever done that's promoted biblical principles.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they've done documentaries on the history of, the Bible or something like that, but it's always from a slant, from a non-Christian.
It's a secular,
yeah.
Yeah.
So my first thought when I heard about this documentary was, wait, hold on. Yeah, Hillsong, we are not fans of Hillsong. Lisa and I are not fans of Hillsong. Hillsong is not a church.
It runs like a business.
No, you're supposed to say it's a business.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to say.
Well, I was going to say that.
Hillsong is not a church.
It's a business.
There we go. We're going to coin that one. Sell it. Make shirts. Check out our merch. So my first thought was, wait, this is how is this going to make the church as a whole look?
Yes, because if you're not a part of the Christian church, you don't see that Hillsong is not a Christian church. And we were afraid that everybody's going to get looped into Hillsong's issues just for being called a Christian, basically.
Exactly.
Is it going to paint Christianity in a bad light? That's what we were worried about.
And my first thought was, honestly, this is going to make Christianity, this is going to make the church in its entirety sound bad.
Yeah.
Or look bad.
Yeah.
So it was a little disheartening to me to see so many people praising this secular network attacking Hillsong without thinking, is this going to make the church look bad in its entirety?
Yeah.
We watched the documentary. It was very well done.
Yeah, it
For
was.
being a for being Discovery.
Yes.
I thought they made for the most part, they made a very good distinction about Hillsong
not being a true church, really.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's kind of hard to see it through a non-Christian lens.
Yeah, how they would
if
view
you're gonna,
it.
Yeah, if you're gonna take it like that. But I think just looking at it from our perspective as born-again, Bible-believing Christians,
Yes.
And using some common sense,
Yeah.
we went, oh, this didn't make the entirety of the church look bad. So it was great. It called out Hillsong for being basically a business, not a church.
Yes, and all the faults that go along with that. All the scandals and just all the sin, really, that Hillsong has participated in.
And
so,
I would
members.
I would recommend you go watch it. However, I would take, me personally, again, not as a fan of Hillsong at all, I would take some of the things that are being said with a grain of salt, because some of it felt a little bit like, hey, Hillsong has this persona, and we're just going to pile on top of that to make it sound worse and worse. From people with no evidence of certain things, saying this happened and this happened. Well, of course it happened, because all this other stuff that has evidence, if you just say this other stuff happened without evidence, you just tend to believe it, because it's all part of the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm not trying to defend Hillsong. I'm just saying, I don't know. Some of it was kind of...
Yeah, I get you. Some of it was very okay, that was wrong. We can see why. There's evidence for it. And then some of it, you're just left I'm a little leery of it. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's look into this article real quick. Oh, first, but before we start the video,
Yeah.
don't we have a sponsor?
We do.
Should we check them out?
Yes, we should.
All right, so let's check out this sponsor here.
The Daily Grace Company. Again, we love the Daily Grace Company because they have so many cool Bible study resources. Another thing I love from the Daily Grace Company is actually their prayer cards. They're really cool. They just are these little card sets you can get on different topics. I have one that's praying for my husband, praying for my marriage. I also had a set which you pray while you're pregnant, and it has different Bible verses that you can pray and just different topics to pray about. And it's just a good way if you're new to prayer, or even if you're a prayer warrior, but you just want little reminders throughout the day of different things you can be praying for. These are really helpful.
I tell you what, Lisa got me some of these for, I think it was the husband's prayers for their wife.
Yeah.
And I haven't used them in a while. I don't know why, but this was several years ago.
Yeah.
But I did use them.
Uh-huh.
And I got to say, it was legit. I'm not typically someone that is like, looking for little prayer cards like that. No, I'm not against them. I'm not.
You don't seek that out.
I don't seek that out. Yeah. But I love them.
Yeah.
They absolutely opened my heart in my mind to go, oh, I should be praying about that, because you don't remember everything all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Right? They're just little reminders and kind of just conversation starters with God.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah, so check that out. We'll have the link in the description, and we also have a coupon code that's in the description as well, so you can go get yourself some nice Bible study resources, prayer cards, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Hey, and real quick, would you mind subscribing to this channel? We would love for you to be a part of this community with us and follow us on this ministry journey that we're on. We love making these videos for you, and if you hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world to us, as well as liking this video. I think liking this video would do wonders for our channel. I know, because what happens is YouTube says, hey, you liked this video, right? As you started watching it. Wow, a lot of people are liking this video. Let's share it with more people.
Exactly.
YouTube loves the like button, and so do we. But genuinely, we ask that you would like this video. That would help us out a ton.
Yeah. And again, always make sure to leave a comment too, because we like engaging with you guys in the comments.
Yeah.
Let us know your opinions on what we're going to be talking about today. If you have any scripture to share, we always love to hear that. So also, if you have any prayer requests, leave those in the comments. That way we can be praying for you too.
Yeah. So let's jump into this story. So again, here it is. Hillsong founder Brian Houston apologizes for what he's done, but says he has no intention of retiring. Now, what does that mean?
Yeah, can we sum up what he's done, just in case somebody's watching this and doesn't really know what's been going on?
So, and we're coming from it from the lens of having watched the Discovery documentary.
Yeah.
Discovery documentary.
And then there was some news right after that documentary came out. That we found out too.
Yeah, but the day before the documentary hit, Brian Houston stepped down as the lead pastor, or I should say the lead CEO of Hillsong.
I mean, basically.
And so he stepped down from Hillsong, and it seemed like, oh, well, that's the end, right? Because he stepped down. Boom. Yeah. What happens now?
Exactly.
Does Hillsong shutter? Does it? I think there's too much money in it for it to go away like that.
Yeah.
But I think that there is a steady decline, and I really hope people's eyes and hearts are open to the fact that they're attending a seminar, a business seminar every week, and not a biblical church.
With a motivational message versus a sermon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I honestly hate that, because my heart wants to feel for this guy, because I want him to genuinely have a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
Because his impact, look at his impact. Mm-hmm. Millions of people.
Yeah.
The biggest Christian band to ever exist. Hillsong.
Yeah.
Christian band, right? Christian music.
Worldwide influence, even secular influence.
I think they just opened their 2 millionth church or something like that. I mean, not
I'm
really.
Like, really? Like, what? I didn't know that.
Not actually 2 million, but it might as well be. Hillsong, they're just exploding.
Yes.
They have exploded. They're nothing new. You've heard of Hillsong.
And they've made their way into, I'm not going to say every church, but many, many churches, especially here in America. I honestly don't know what it's like outside of America, but in America, if you go to almost any church, and again, not every single one, but they're probably playing Hillsong worship music. That's a whole other discussion.
I guarantee you there's churches all over the United States that would say, we don't agree with Hillsong, but yet play their music every Sunday because they either don't know it's a Hillsong song.
Yeah.
You know how many songs I've heard, especially in the documentary? There was a couple songs in there where they were playing songs from like the 90s that Hillsong, and I go, that's a Hillsong song?
Yeah.
No!
Yeah.
Because I love that song.
Exactly.
No! But
Yeah.
it is what it is. And, maybe it's okay to listen to those ones from the 90s because it's not.
I don't know. That's a whole, like I said, that's a whole other topic.
That's my flesh trying to justify listening to those good old songs. Okay, so let's read some of this before this is a 95-minute video. Hillsong Church founder Brian Houston, who resigned last month after the Evangelical Megachurch Network revealed 2 misconduct allegations against him, has apologized to church members for letting them down, but says he has no intention of retiring. So, wow. So the allegations against him am. I don't know. What's the... Am I speaking English here?
Yes, you're speaking English.
Okay. So there's a couple things going on with Brian Houston. One is that he's being held legally liable for withholding the fact that his dad was...
a pedophile.
Yeah. And
he knew about it.
And again, these are the accusations that Brian Houston knew about it, didn't say anything. When you add on to that there's multiple allegations of Brian Houston knowing about different sexual misconducts within the church, within pastoral leaders, within Hillsong, and not saying anything. You go, oh gosh, it quacks like a duck. It looks like a duck. I mean, is it a duck?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did that make sense?
Yeah.
So he, so there's those allegations. There's, he's been accused of, not accused. There's allegations that he texted a Hillsong staff woman
inappropriately.
Yeah. This was like almost 10 years ago, though.
Yeah, and the possible adultery.
So what happened? The article gets into it, but we could just sum it up so we're not reading, the entire thing, right? In 2019, after a Hillsong conference, Brian Houston and some of the staff out there went to a bar. Brian Houston was taking anxiety medication. He was also drinking. They were drinking very heavily. Apparently, this is a common thing with Hillsong. After the conferences, after the church services, whatever. Whenever they have a meeting, whenever they're together, they're like, "Hey, this was great. Let's go get drunk."
Oh gosh.
So what happened was they go to this bar. They get drunk, drinking profusely. Brian Houston can't get into his hotel room. Oh, really? Okay, so he goes to this woman that he had met down in the bar. He goes to her room, right? Safe haven, right? Go to another woman's room when you're drunk. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea for a pastor.
Yeah,
any
married man.
Yeah, or just any married man.
Yeah,
exactly. So he goes into the room. They're in the room by themselves. After having been drinking at the bar for 40 minutes. So both say that they do not recall having any intercourse together, which basically means, we did.
Yeah. Keyword, do not recall.
Yeah.
Not we didn't. No, I don't recall.
Well, and what does that say too? So if it comes out like, yeah, so say the lady comes out, right? Maybe
Yeah.
she's like not happy with the money they're giving her to stay quiet, which I'm guessing is what's happening. I again, just a hunch.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's exactly what's happening. Settle down. But imagine she comes out and says, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Brian Houston can say, well, I don't recall it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't recall it. I didn't lie.
Yeah.
I just don't recall it, even though he's lying because he does recall it.
Yeah.
So he was either too smash drunk to remember, which
is a whole other issue.
which is unbiblical, which is unbiblical in and of itself, but especially for a pastor.
Yeah.
Let's and we're gonna look at 1 Timothy and Titus and some of these verses that have to do with being above reproach and how pastors live up to greater standards.
Yes.
But again, are we talking about a pastor or a CEO?
I know.
Either way, it's somebody that claims to be a Christian.
Yeah. That's
So
supposedly leading a church. Again, we talked about that. We don't really think Hillsong's a church. But in his own words, he would consider it a church. So we need to hold him accountable to what he says he is.
Yep. So what yeah, so where did I leave off here? So he was, he's just going to say, I don't remember, both of them are saying they don't remember what happened. And then I guess the new head of Hillsong came out and said, Brian Houston said he doesn't remember and stuff like that again. And then Brian Houston said, no, he didn't do anything wrong. But when you look at his apology here, it just, I don't know. It just seems kind of, I just realized we were on the screen twice that whole time. Look, we're down a little. I didn't take it off of there. I didn't take it off of there. Okay, someone will let me know in the comments. That's fine. Let's see here. It says, in his email to church members, Houston wrote that he let them down so badly and that sorry will never be enough to express my sorrow. As hollow as it may sound, I believe I am a person and a pastor you believe me to be. Well, okay, it depends on who's reading that now.
Yeah.
Because if you're who we believe you to be, then you're not a pastor. You're a heretical teacher. So are you admitting to that?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Our next video, Brian Houston admits to being a heretic. No.
Oh, gosh.
Again, I feel bad for this guy. I do.
Yeah.
My heart hurts. My soul wants to hurt because I know that his impact is hurting so many people, but also his eternal salvation.
Yeah.
We genuinely pray that he is saved.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and all the people that have been, following his teachings and have been a part of Hillsong.
You know what I would love? If he just came out one day and was like, everything that I've been doing has been a lie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and by the grace of God, I pray that you would forgive me, and I pray that God would bless what happens next, and that the Spirit of God would just pour out on everybody listening right now and everybody that's ever heard any word I've ever said.
Yeah.
And from this day forward, doctrine matters. Biblical principles matter. We're not gonna run like a business. We're gonna run like, they're not. They're in the business of money making.
Yeah.
Not in the business of spreading the gospel.
Yeah, exactly.
So he says that I am determined that my mistakes will not define me. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, he's already defined by what Hillsong's been doing for 20, 30 years. How long has it been now? I don't remember. But it goes on to say, Houston stated that he accepts full responsibility for what? You didn't do anything wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so now he's accepting responsibility.
For what, though?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we know what for what, but no one is to blame but myself for the position I find myself in. Do you want to read some of it?
Sure. It says, it may be some time before we see light at the end of this tunnel, but I know God has not finished with us yet. And what now, you may ask? We are living day by day right now. Bobby and I are unified, and we are believing together that this year will be a year of respite and restoration to our souls as I continue to prepare to fight for my innocence in the legal proceedings ahead of me.
Yeah.
I still have a sense of bright hope for the future, and I know God is not finished with me yet. We have no intention of retiring. As Bobby would say, the final chapters of our lives are not yet written.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's just, again, even through this, it just still sounds like a sales pitch, almost. It doesn't sound like there's any, genuine type of restoration to his walk with the Lord. Like, where, I don't know. And then
even what he's saying here, like what he's like apologizing for, and even like he brings his family into it. It sounds like he's apologizing for all the legal stuff they're having to deal with.
Yeah.
Not for him doing anything wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. And, and then it goes on to say, it crushes me to see your heart breaking as we navigate this season.
Yeah.
But, these allegations from 2013, right? Texting a woman staffer and then getting drunk after the, let's look at this real quick. Let's look at, I want to bring up Logos and 1 Timothy 3:1. If anyone aspires to the office of overseer, he desires a noble task. Therefore, an overseer must be above reproach, the husband of one wife, sober-minded, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable, able to teach, not a drunkard, not violent but gentle, not quarrelsome, not a lover of money. I mean, and it just goes on. And then, also Titus talks about this. In fact, I'll type it in real quick. Titus 1:6. If anyone is above reproach, the husband of one wife, and his children are believers and not open to the charge of debauchery or insubordination, for an overseer, as God's steward, must be above reproach. He must not be arrogant or quick-tempered or a drunkard, or violent or greedy for gain, but hospitable, a lover of good, self-controlled. So, this man, when you look at, real quick, let's talk about Hillsong. Seems like it's been a breeding ground.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
For this kind of debauchery.
Yes. For drunkenness, for adultery. We've seen it with several Hillsong pastors and employees. There's the whole Carl Lentz thing that came out.
Yeah, Carl Lentz.
Yes.
Again, sexual immorality, drunkenness, lewdness. You can see that for so long. It was all about, our camera turned off here, sorry. It was technical difficulties all over the place. It was all about having a name for himself and being around the celebrities and doing shots and drinking. And just look up Carl Lentz pictures of hanging out with celebrities. The dude was just all over the place. Not a Christian by any means, if you were just basing it off of the fruit that you saw in his actions. And so Carl Lentz, you had Hillsong and the Hillsong Church in Dallas, Texas, completely shut down. Last I heard, Dallas, Texas, Hillsong Church completely shut down because the head pastor there, sexual misconduct. Okay, and then you had a Hillsong. He was like a branding, like the branding coordinator, the lead branding.
Like representative or whatever.
Representative for Hillsong Church in, I think, New Jersey or something. And boom, again, just misconduct. It's everywhere. It's a breeding ground. So, this is it's sad in one sense because a lot of people will look at this and think that it represents Christianity.
Yeah, exactly.
But we see through it as believers, genuine believers.
Well, and what makes me more sad too is, again, all the people that are caught up in this church. I just hope that, one, that their eyes are open and they see the truth. And that they don't come out of this being bitter towards God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Christianity, but that they realize this wasn't a true representation of God and the Bible, and the true biblical church. This was not a representation of that.
No.
And I hope that they're able to find good biblical churches.
Absolutely.
And, come out of this, basically. And I think the whole reason why we see all of this going on with Hillsong, again, it's run like a business, not like a church. Anybody is susceptible to this sin. I do want to bring that up. Like, any of us can be susceptible to this sin. We cannot be prideful in saying we would never do that, or this person would never do that. But that's the whole point, is first comes pride, then the fall. That's an idea that comes from scripture.
Yeah.
Also, the love of money is the root of all evil. I think we see a huge love of money throughout these churches. They are living these exuberant lifestyles, the pastors of these churches.
Yeah.
Also, there was something else I was going to say and I forgot.
It was probably the most important thing you were going to say.
Yeah, probably.
It was going to... Yeah. But anyway, that's the story for today. It's just out of hand. To see rest, is he talking about not retiring because he wants to be restored to his head pastoral role of Hillsong? Yeah, I don't.
But it worries me.
Absolutely.
Say that.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It worries. It worries you to think that he's just going to come right back and be up to the same old tricks. I hope that's not the case. I hope he finds he's feeling genuine sorrow and finds genuine salvation.
Yeah. So
because imagine the impact if he were to come back and say, guys, I'm born again.
Yeah.
I know it now.
Exactly.
And I want to make a difference. I don't want to do what I've been doing.
Yeah. That's what I hope and pray for. And I hope, again, like I was saying, that the members of Hillsong Church can come to know the true gospel.
Biblically, he should not be restored.
Yeah. To
his position. But again, I hope that there's genuine salvation there and repentance.
Yeah. So let us know your guys' thoughts about all of this in the comments. There's probably more I'm sure we'll be talking about this more as more news comes out about this and everything. But
thanks for watching, you guys. We really appreciate it. Again, would you mind hitting that subscribe button and subscribing to this channel and just being a part of this community with us? Hit that like button as well. We would love for you to like this video. It does wonders for us. And we would love to hear from you in the comment section. So please leave your comment, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to talk about. We'll be there to chat with you. So thank you again for watching. Make sure to check out Daily Grace Company before you leave. And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.